Hey, what's going on everyone? Romeo here, a fellow Spanish language learner. In this video, I'm going to show you how to supercharge your productivity by using AI to build out your flashcards. Now, specifically, I'm going to be using Spanish flashcards or creating Spanish flashcards, but you can literally use the same prompt that I'm going to provide with a few modifications to use it for French or any other language that you want to convert into flashcards. That said, let's go ahead and get started. For this tutorial, you're going to need two things. You're going to need a AI. In this tutorial, I'm going to use ChatGPT since that is one that is well known. And you're going to need a flashcard app. I use Quizlet for my flashcard app, but you can quite literally use this for any flashcard app. So what are we going to do? The scenario is we have a list of words that we want to quickly make into flashcards. Now, those words can come from something like a PDF online, or they can even come from words from a physical book. For the sake of this video though, I'm going to use a PDF so that I can show you exactly the input that I'm going to be taking from the book and putting into the AI tool. Specifically, I'm going to be using this book. The name doesn't matter, but in this chapter, it goes over the imperfect tense. And so the scenario is, okay, it's teaching the imperfect tense, and I want to take these words that are in Spanish, and I want to make flashcards to show the imperfect tense. But not only do I want to use these 3 words, I also want to use, let's say, these 10 words here. So that will be one set of flashcards that I make. Take words that are just verbs in this case, and then create the imperfect tense version of these verbs. So how are we going to do this? It all starts with the perfect prompt. So the prompt that I like to use is here on the screen. So let's go ahead and zoom in. And the prompt is processing a text-based list of Spanish English words or word phrases. And these are the instructions. Of course, I'll be sure to give you this prompt in the description of this video, so make sure you copy it from there. But let's go over this prompt really quick. So the first thing I say is I want to parse the provided input list to look for Spanish, English pairs or words or phrases. So these are the words that I'm going to provide the AI tool. Number 2, in preparation for the final output, I want the AI to modify the list because I want it to be robust enough to take whatever input that I give it. So then I want it to modify the noun if I provided a noun using the appropriate definite article. And definite articles, at least in Spanish, are very important because the definite articles I want to be able to know when I want to turn my noun into a pronoun. I'm going to need to be able to use it in my sentences, knowing whether it is a el or a la word. Next, I say for Spanish adjectives, provide only the masculine version of the Spanish word, but append the part of speech to the end of the Spanish word. And for me, I only need the masculine version because I understand the rules of adjectives. So if it's going to be a word that ends in O, I'm going to automatically change it into the feminine version. So I don't need both the O ending and the A ending. Next, I say if the English translation for a Spanish word or phrase is not provided, determine the most common English translation of that Spanish word or phrase and provide it as an English translation. So this helps me if I only have the Spanish version of the word. So if I want to be able to just put aprender in that input list, then I want ChatGPT, in this case, to go ahead and parse that and say, okay, well, the English translation isn't provided, so I want to go ahead and just create the most common translation for aprender. Back to our prompt, I say if the Spanish translation for an English word or phrase is not provided, then go ahead and give me the Spanish translation for the English word. Same concept. If I want to quickly just throw an English word in there, give me the Spanish output. Next, I say I want to create a table of English-Spanish terms by doing the following. For each Spanish-English pair found and modified, I want it to create a row that includes the pairs, and the first column in the row should be English, and the second column should be Spanish. And that's the way I modify my flashcards because me, someone who speaks English, I want to be able to convert English into Spanish as opposed to recognizing a Spanish word and converting that into English. So the next thing I say, if the Spanish word or phrase has multiple English meanings Include all the English translations for the Spanish word in a second column to avoid unnecessary redundancy. And of course, that's important because you don't want a bunch of flashcards that all pretty much say the same thing. And then I say if the Spanish word is a verb, verb phrase, fixed, idiomatic verb phrase, or expression, then I want you to convert that verb into whatever tense that I am studying or making flashcards for at this time. So in this case, this prompt uses the imperfect tense because we're studying the imperfect tense of the chapter. And then I say last, format the table so that the part of speech follows the parsed English word or phrase, not the Spanish word. So I want the parts of speeches for my words because it's important to know what you're actually trying to translate when you come across the word. You don't want your word to just say talk, because talk can either be to talk, or it can be talk as an imperative, or it can be talking. So I want specifically to know that if I want to convert the word talk, then I am converting the verb and I'm using to talk. And then the last part of the prompt is I'll put the format so that it is in a downloadable doc file. And that's important because I need a doc file to be able to copy from and then quickly input it into Quizlet, which you will see. But anyway, now that we have the actual prompt, let's go ahead and take this prompt, copy this prompt, and now I'm going to go into ChatGPT. Okay, so now that I'm in ChatGPT, as you can see, I already have my own project here, but I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to say new project, and then I'm going to call this project Flashcard Helper. All right, so it's creating a project. And once you create the project, what do? You then click on the folder, and then in the instructions is where you paste your prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and paste all of that prompt. And as you can see, the entire prompt is here. Then I'm going to save the prompt. So now that I have the prompt in there, I can have ChatGPT confirm that it understands what I want it to do. So I can say, confirm the instructions that you must follow in this project. And I press enter there, and it should tell me exactly what it believes the prompt wants it to do. And so there it is. There's the instructions. It knows exactly what it needs to do. So the next step, now that you have your project created and ChatGPT understands what it must do, let's go ahead and test it. So I'm going to go into my PDF and I'm going to copy a few words. So we're back in the PDF. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take these 3 words here. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to go back into ChatGPT. I'm going to start there. And then I'm going to go back into the PDF and I'm going to take the next 10 words. I'm going to copy those and I'm going to paste it. And so now it has these words, and what we should expect is that it creates a list, a table of all of these words because they're verbs in the imperfect tense, and they should all have their parts of speech appended to the words. So let's see what we get. Okay, so ChatGPT, it says, okay, here are the words that we're processing. And it said, next, I want to generate the table ready for export in a doc file. And it's asking me, hey, do you want to go ahead and create the table? And I'll say yes. So now it's going to create the table by using a Python script. And we're going to give it a second to do that. Okay, the instructions have been processed, and it says I've created the English Spanish verb table formatted exactly based on the project rules. So now that it did that, let's go ahead and download the Word document and see what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep the name, the same English Spanish verbs imperfect. I'm going to save the document, and then I'm going to open the document. And I'll open the document, and here we are. We have the verb to swim, and we have the imperfect tense of each of the verbs. So before I put these into Quizlet though, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this out, and we're going to do the same thing to test this algorithm, so to speak, or these instructions with a list of words that doesn't include the verbs. So let's go ahead and do it again. So let's go into the mixed vocabulary section at the end of this chapter, and we're going to take all of these vocabulary words, which includes verbs, nouns, and everything. Let's go ahead and copy this, and let's put this list in our instructions. So let's go ahead and paste it, and let's see what we get. It said it is done. Let's go ahead and download the file. Let's save it again. Let's open it up. And here's our table in a Word format. In this case, because we gave it the instructions to convert the verbs into the imperfect tense, we see verbs such as to dive with its normal translation, followed by the imperfect tense translation of the word to dive. And of course, if you wanted to just use this same algorithm to instead provide past tense version, you can do that. You just go back into your project instructions, go into the instructions, and instead of having it process imperfect verbs, you will change this up and you will say, okay, so instead of the imperfect tense, you say past tense conjugations. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and provide examples for ChatGPT, but I don't think you need to, but I will, just because it's a computer and I want to be more explicit. Go back into the chat. I can copy these words. I'll first confirm that ChatGPT will be processing the updated instructions. So in this case, it does not. So I need to make sure that I say, hey, the instructions changed to now process verbs in the past tense. So it's actually smart enough to confirm that I mean the preterite tense. So I say yes. It's confirmed that I mean the past tense using the preterite. And now that I did that, I'm going to go and put the same list of words that I wanted before into the ChatGPT, hit enter, processing this list. All right, the list is processed. Again, I'm going to go ahead and download the list. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to open it. And with the list open, we should now see the past tense versions or the preterite versions. So let's go down to bucear, to dive, past tense, buceé, buceaste, buceo, and so forth. So now that we have this list, what can we do with it? So as I said, I use Quizlet. I need to copy the table content. I'm copying the table content, and then I'm going to go into Quizlet. So now that I'm in Quizlet, if I want to create a flashcard set from these words, then the first thing I'm going to go do is I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to go into flashcard set. And in the flashcard set, instead of typing out all my words manually, I'm going to go into import. And because they came from the Word document table, all I have to do now is paste the words. And as I paste the words into Quizlet, I can see that it's created 17 cards based on the words that were in that table. I can import those words. Once I import those words, I need to make sure that the words are English to Spanish. Once I see that they are English to Spanish, I give my flashcards a title, and I'll call it ChatGPT flashcards. Once I give it a title, I hit create. I'm not going to save it to a folder here, but now that I have them, I can just literally go into flashcards and I can now study my flashcards. As usual, como de costumbre, and of course, if you use Quizlet, you can go into your settings and you can modify your settings so that you can either show the English version first or the Spanish version first. And then you can also use text to speech or not text to speech when you are operating your flashcards. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it helps you increase your productivity as you create your flashcards. Like I said, you can use this prompt for anything. You can actually go back into the prompt and you can type in your own words. You can literally use this prompt for any vocabulary building that you want at this stage. So again, if this video was helpful, go ahead and give this video a like. If you know someone who's studying languages and they need to increase their productivity, go ahead and share this video with them. And until the next video, good luck on your journey to reaching Spanish fluency, whatever that level may be for you. Peace.